All right. Good afternoon. This is Peter Lambert, aka Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com. Please follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is CoachBigPeteFP@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So let's get started, shall we? Deep Dish Football Game of the Week, Round 2, Class 6A. We have Simeon going to Prairie Ridge, and oh, it is a beautiful game. And I'm really excited about this game. Two different offenses, triple option of Prairie Ridge. Wow, it's good. This is going to be one hell of a game. I'm excited for this game. I'm really excited for this game. I'm excited to see the Simeon team. First time, actually first time ever. I'm going to be watching Simeon football. Really excited. I'm really excited to see this duo of tackles, two of the best tackles in the state of Illinois that Simeon has. Unbelievable secondary, great group of wide receivers, and an underrated quarterback in Jaquez Woodland. This is a great game. I'm excited. So let's get started. Let's go with Simeon first. Let's start with Simeon first. One loss to St. Francis in Baltimore, Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they should have even had that game. I think they should have had a game closer. I really think that, and if the strike didn't happen, I think Simeon would have gone 9-0. And I really do believe that this Simeon squad for 2019 is better than the 2018 Simeon squad. That's just my personal feeling. Some underrated players that I talked about. Jaquaz Woodland is an underrated quarterback. The kid deserves a lot more respect than he's getting. He's a hell of a player. Kenyon Butler, nose guard. This is his time. This is going to be his key game for the season. Prairie Ridge, him and that defensive line. It's going to be huge. Cordero Williams, another guy. Cameron James on the offensive line. Khalil Warren, two big boys. Division One talented. Many offers. Including Charles Smith, cornerback for Simeon, another hell of a player. One of the top defensive backs in the Midwest. Jalen Lee, another defensive back that you got to look forward to as well. London Harbin, wide receiver, definitely a kid to check out. 6'3", by the way. Tall frame wide receiver, definitely a kid that you got to check out for. Mikael Miller. They just have an overall talented, impressive, talented group of players. Andre Cruz is another freshman running back that they have. George Gums, wide receiver. He's one of the best wide receivers in the state, and he's only a junior. Micaiah Miller. This is just a group of talented players. Jaceel Washington. It's an unbelievably talented group of players. Even their second string players have talent. This is just pure talented group of players. Coach Culberth does a wonderful job, and that coaching staff does a wonderful job with those kids, especially progressing them from their freshman, sophomore year to their junior, senior year. They're some of the best coaching staff in the state of Illinois. Definitely, it's a team. This is a team's team, no doubt about it. Definitely. And my personal feeling again is that they should have been 9-0. They should have never ever played St. Francis in Maryland. But this is a very talented, rich team, an underrated and a lot of underrated players. And my key player again on that defensive line is little big man basically. Keenan Butler, he does the wonderful job. One of the top nose guards in the country, in the state, no doubt about that. For schedule, and they had some good wins. Their first loss was St. Francis, that hurt, no doubt about it. They beat Phillips, which was a key game for them, huge game for them. They beat Curry. They beat Lakes last week. They beat Lincoln Park, which is a pretty good team as well, and they beat Taft, which is another good team. Overall, they're staring at 7-1 due to the strike and the games that they missed. I'm sorry, did they miss? No, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. They missed Curry. They missed Taft. I'm sorry. I apologize. Um, they beat Hubbard, but the main big win was Phillips. I do apologize for that. That just threw me for a loop. But yeah, good games, but the big win was over Phillips, their big rivalry. So talking about that, going into that whole situation, Simeon Academy. I have a Simeon. If Simeon Academy wins this game against Prairie Ridge, for me personally, I see Simeon basically not know a team. I see a lot of teams having trouble with Simeon until they get into the semifinals, basically. But Simeon is definitely a top dog team in the state of Illinois, especially going into the second round against Prairie Ridge. Now let's get into Prairie Ridge. And for Prairie Ridge, for me, the biggest thing that happened to them and the greatest thing that happened to them was the loss to Huntley. That was the best thing to happen to Prairie Ridge. That was the greatest thing to ever happen to Prairie Ridge this season, was that loss to Huntley, because it set their minds into stone that they were going to work on what they did wrong against that Huntley team, and they came back stronger than ever. And I say this one time, and I said this to a few of the Prairie Ridge players. That Huntley loss to me put them as the top dogs in the 6A conference before East St. Louis went in there and all the other stuff. But before everything, I had Prairie Ridge after that loss as the top dogs in the 6A. That was a great loss for them to lose. And I know it sounds stupid. There's no such thing as moral victories, but that loss was great for Prairie Ridge. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people are looking at this, what the hell are you talking about, Coach Big Pete? But that was a great moral victory that they had against Huntley. That loss was huge for them. They beat Jacobs. They beat let me go down. I think Jacobs was a huge win. Cary Grove was even a bigger win. Cary Grove was a big win for them, and Crystal Lake South was another big win. But that Cary Grove win at Cary Grove was huge. And you're talking about now two teams facing each other that beat their longtime rivals. That's huge. That's huge. Now we get into the team of Prairie Ridge. When we talk about Prairie Ridge, we talk about Carter Evans. That's the first player we talk about. The Evans, all the Evans boys, and he's the next big Evans. Um, he's a hell of a player, hell of a tight end. He can catch the ball out of nowhere. And again, he is a special type of player for Prairie Ridge. Kyle Kohleberger, safety DB, I consider him one of the best in the state. He's definitely a player, deserves a lot more respect than he's getting. Connor Lydon, quarterback. We should be talking more about him. I consider him one of the best triple option quarterbacks in the state. Um, I think he's unbelievably talented, and I think he is a hell of a passer. He's an underrated passer. Connor Lydon, and he'll make you miss. He'll make you miss with his feet, no doubt about it. Riley Smith, underrated offensive tackle. Uh, Drew Fryer, underrated linebacker. His other little brother, Little Fryer, had a hell of a game last week. I did an interview with him. He had 2 interceptions. He's going to be another key playmaker. He's another wolf that comes up. Again, the thing with Prairie Ridge is this. One player leaves, go to graduation. 2 players come in. 2 players leave, 4 players come in. Simple as that. Coach Shrimp has done a wonderful job of creating a positive environment with those kids and a program that believes in those kids that believe in themselves and believe in that offense. They do wonders. They do magical wonders at Prairie Ridge High School, and that's key. We talk about another player, who I believe is one of the more underrated athletes in the state of Illinois, Blake Brown. He does it all. He can do everything. I think he deserves a lot more respect. He's a hell of a player for this Prairie Ridge team. All right, and we go down a little bit more after Blake Brown. They have another big man that I'm trying to find his name. Yeah, he's another hell of a player too. But again, this Prairie Ridge team has got a group of talented, underrated players, no doubt about it. Ty Baker, another defensive back to look out for as well. Um, Pearson, on the offensive line, another big man to keep an eye out. I think they have a great kicker as well, if I'm not mistaken. But again, this Prairie Ridge team, it's another special Prairie Ridge team. And again, they have an offense that a lot of teams have not seen. And when you have an offense, and when you have that type of offense, where you have the defense that has to try and at least stay in their zone and stay and contain and read the keys. If they do not read their keys, they're screwed. If they beat Simeon and they go against these other teams and these other teams have trouble. Prairie Ridge and their defense can't stay patient. They're not patient at all. Prairie Ridge is going looking at another state title. No doubt about that. No doubt about it. I don't think it's any surprise in that this offense is a pain in the ass for a lot of defensive coordinators. No doubt about it. All right, if you like my work, follow Coach McPete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you like my work again, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal link below in the video or below in the article. I will be doing another thing, keys for the game, and at the final thoughts on Thursday, so it should be done by Friday and all that other stuff. And again, if you have any questions, my email is coachbigpete@fp@gmail.com. And make sure you fill out the Deep Dish Football Recruiting Questionnaire brand new for the class of 2023, 2022, and 2021. Thank you so much. My name is Coach Big Pete, aka Peter Lambert. Have a wonderful night.